According to the polls, Geert Wilders and his Freedom Party, the PVV, look set to win the most seats in the upcoming Dutch parliamentary elections. Often compared to US President Donald Trump due to his unique bleach blonde hairstyle and uncompromising Netherlands-first styled rhetoric, the populist leader certainly has much in common with Trump. However, the Dutch politician, known for his anti-Islamic and anti-EU views, also has many differences with the American president. He is the very definition of a political insider. As elections are now just 3 weeks away, many are asking just who is Geert Wilders and how does he plan to transform the Netherlands? The youngest of four, Wilders grew up in a conservative Roman Catholic family, although Wilders himself is not religious. Growing up in the town of Venlo, near the German border, Wilders still has a Limburgish accent and is proud of his roots, despite the area being one of the poorest areas in the Netherlands. His father was originally from the Limburg area, and his mother fled from what is now Indonesia, now the world's most populous Muslim country, as a child, while Dutch colonial assets in the region fell into disarray. While active in politics from an early age, Wilders joined the public service in his early 20s. Motivated by what he saw as a complete dysfunction and waste, Wilders' disdain for the Dutch bureaucracy can be tracked back to this stage in his life. Wilders soon joined the VVD, or People's Party for Freedom and Democracy, and began to write for the then leader Frits Bolkestein, a fierce critic of immigration. Bolkestein was in many ways a mentor for Wilders, and his anti-immigration tone fostered Wilders' pre-existing distrust of immigrants, particularly those from Muslim nations. Wilders became a local councillor for Utrecht in 1997 and lived in the city's poorest and majority Muslim neighbourhood of Canal Islands. A year later, he was elected into Parliament, and by this stage Wilders had dyed his hair from its traditional brown to its iconic bleach blonde style, had taken media training classes, and was preparing to become the sharp-tongued MP he is today. Wilders is now the fourth longest-serving current MP in the Dutch lower house, making him the very definition of a political insider and a clear break from the outsider Donald Trump, who he is often compared to. In his early days as an MP for the VVD, Wilders gained a reputation for two things. Firstly, he was known as a party rebel, often willing to speak out against what he perceived to be poor policy. Secondly, he became known as an expert in Islamic terrorism, although before 9/11 this topic was of little interest to many of his peers. Wilders' fascination and contempt with Islam has evolved over the decades, but was certainly fostered by a year-long trip to Israel as a teenager, which helps to explain his current pro-Israel stance. 9/11 reshaped Western politics, and the Netherlands was not exempt from this. Suddenly, Wilders' views were a hot commodity. However, still a party member of a Main Street party, Wilders felt hamstrung by its policy agenda and felt frustrated that the party was not willing to adopt his anti-Islam policies. In 2004, Wilders broke from the VVD. Shortly thereafter, an assassination rocked the Dutch political landscape. Conservative Pim Fortuyn, a conservative that Wilders admired due to his anti-immigration and anti-Islam platform, had already been assassinated by an environmentalist in 2002. But in 2004, a filmmaker, Theo van Gogh, was assassinated by a Dutch Moroccan who was enraged by the artist's portrayal of Islam. It was discovered that this assassin had intentions to kill Wilders too, and Wilders has endured assassination attempts ever since. Thus, for more than a decade, Wilders has lived under police protection. This helps to explain his shifting views on Islam. See, in 2005, Wilders stated he believed that not all Muslims were dangerous and upheld the principle of freedom of religion. After living under 24-hour security for more than a decade, Wilders now believes that the Quran should be outlawed, all mosques should be shut down, and immigration stopped. Of course, such policies outlined in his one-page policy manifesto for the 2017 election would violate EU law. Wilders wants the Netherlands to withdraw from the EU, and his economic policy is light, but certainly has a theme of protectionism about it. But in order to implement this policy agenda, Wilders and his PVV need to form government, which will be a challenge for them to do. Wilders has created a political party in quite an unusual way. Prevented from traditionally campaigning due to security risks, Wilders and a small team of supporters has used the internet and social media to spread his message to the masses. Unlike other political parties, no sizable party bureaucracy exists and no significant grassroots organisation is utilised to help spread the party word. In fact, the party only has one official member, Wilders himself. Many opponents have suggested that this is why the party performed worse than anticipated in 2012 and why Wilders will find it difficult to find a coalition partner, which he is going to need if he wants to form government. Another reason Wilders will find it difficult to form government is that every major party has indicated it will refuse to work with him regardless of the 2017 election results. His party briefly supported a minority government in 2010 led by the VVD, his former party, and the Christian Democrats. Eventually, Wilders withdrew his support and the government collapsed, and thus many parties view Wilders and the PVV not only as too extreme, but as unreliable coalition partners. However, if Wilders can win enough seats in the lower house, his participation in the government could be unavoidable. Ultimately, time will tell. Thanks for listening to Black Swan Politics.